Well, there's no other way to slice it. Kentucky basketball had a chance to win, and they simply beat themselves.
You are Locked On Kentucky, your daily podcast on the Kentucky Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, what's going on, Big Blue Nation? Welcome on into Locked On Kentucky, your daily Kentucky Wildcats podcast. I'm your host, Lance Dawe, and on today's episode of Locked On Kentucky, we are going to be recapping Kentucky basketball's 74-69 loss to the Vanderbilt Commodores. This is one of the most infuriating games I have watched this season, leaving this contest with a lot of questions about Mark Pope's squad and their inability to simply play average basketball against what, according to computer models and according to eye test, is just simply a weaker opponent. Thank you guys so much for making Locked On Kentucky your first listen every single day. Live streaming this one on YouTube. If you guys are watching in the live chat, please sound off. Let me know what you thought about this loss. Again, incredibly frustrating for the Kentucky Wildcats to lose in this way after mounting a furious comeback at the beginning of the second half. This team just simply does not play well against bad competition. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. You can download the Game Time app. You can create an account. You can use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Again, thank you guys so much for watching today. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, it would greatly appreciate it if you did so. Let's go ahead and get into it. I am just kind of drained after that one energetically. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about this contest to start off other than the fact that Kentucky just shot themselves in the foot. Appreciate it, Jason. Hilarious. They continue against bad competition to play poorly. And at the beginning of games, it doesn't matter who the opponent is. They refuse to start strong. They refuse to start a game off consistent. They will not play good defense to start a game. It is not going to happen. And in this contest, despite the ball going in the hole, Kentucky could not play defense specifically against Jason Edwards. Geez. They could not stop him. And that was a sign of things to come, because Kentucky could not hold Vanderbilt in transition. They could not hold their speed. And when the game started to get a little chaotic, the Cats folded and turned the ball over and over and over again. This might be the worst game I have seen Lamont Butler play, period. In this contest, 6 points, 2 of 7 shooting, fouled out, 2 assists, 6 turnovers, and 27 minutes. That turnover at the end of the game was embarrassing, where he's trying to get it to Amari. I think he was in instead of Garrison, trying to get the play run. And it's clear Vanderbilt's like over the back of Amari, by the way, trying to swat at the ball. And it's clear you're not going to be able to get this in. Just like either wait or throw the pass to somebody else. And he forces the issue and turns the ball over. You can't do that. I don't know what else to say. I am stunned at the fact that Kentucky was down 14 at one point in this game. They got up, 58-51, so a 7-point lead. And then they blew it. No points. No free throws. No buckets. No buckets at all. Nothing for the final 3 minutes of this game. You had a chance to take the lead, and Amari Williams got mauled. He got mauled on a rebound attempt, and nothing was called. I will say this. This is the best officiating I've seen all season long. It was consistent. They didn't call anything. I will give them that. They did not call anything on either end of the floor. You can't turn the ball over 6 times if you're the lead guard. And if you're Otega Owe, hey man, I appreciate you pouring in 21 points and 12 rebounds. You can't turn the ball over 4 times. Amari Williams, who has been crazy turnover prone all season long, had 4 assists and just 1 turnover. Brandon Garrison, who's playing well as of late, passing the rock, 4 turnovers, no assists. And these were not forced by Vanderbilt. These were not things that Vanderbilt was doing. The game was being sped up, sure, but Vanderbilt wasn't out there taking the ball away from Kentucky. Kentucky was giving it to them. In the first half, Vanderbilt was playing with some speed. And you can't turn the ball over and not get back. And when you see a Vanderbilt shooter beyond the arc receiving the basketball, you have to close out. Which is something I don't know if the coaching staff is telling them, let opponents shoot threes. I don't know if they're telling them, don't play defense. You have to close out on shots. 12 of 33 in this game was Vanderbilt. 7 of 18 in the first half. You can't be sloppy and then just decide not to play defense. This is a wake-up call for everyone on this team, specifically the guys protecting the rim. Wake up! Amari Williams, if someone is driving into the lane, put your hand up if they're going to take a shot. It is infuriating the way that this team will go from playing Duke like they're the freaking Golden State Warriors, hitting 40% from 3, driving in, playing defense, drawing fouls. They'll play well against Gonzaga after being 16 down. And then you go on the road against Vanderbilt, a team that you very clearly could have beaten by 15 points if you had just locked in for 40 minutes. And yet here you are with another loss on your schedule to a team you could have beaten. If you want a high seed, if you want a chance to make a run in the tournament, which is what everybody keeps preaching, you have to win these games now. This is a quadrant 1 opportunity. You need as many of these as you can possibly get if you want a high seed to avoid a bad matchup early. The coaching in this game, I thought, was fine. I thought the sets were good. I thought the plays were okay. But you have to tell these guys to close out on defense, and you have to tell them to calm down with the ball in their hands. This is infuriating to watch Kentucky go from the heights of beating one of the best college basketball teams we've seen in my lifetime and then losing on the road to Vanderbilt. And some of you may sit here and say, well, Vanderbilt's a good team. And you know what? They're a good team. They're a good team right now, sitting at now 16-4. Let me tell you what Vanderbilt's not. They're not Duke. They're not Gonzaga. They're not, frankly, Florida or Texas A&M. They are a good team. They're not a great team. This is a team that lost to Drake by 11 earlier this year. This is a team that you statistically outnumber in a variety of categories. This is a team that is 20 spots below you on KenPom. This is a team you should have beaten. The Alabama loss, you can understand it. You got beat by a great team. It happens. You couldn't close out in the last 5 minutes. For the final 8 minutes of this game to be 58-51 with a 7-point lead And for you to go out and put out that performance for the final eight minutes of this contest, it is inexcusable. For the players on this roster, for Butler, for Owe, for Williams, for Carr if he comes back, for Garrison, for everybody on this team, this is a wake-up call. If you want it, you got to go and get it. You got an opportunity on Tuesday against one of the best teams in the nation. Maybe you'll beat them because apparently all you do is play well against good competition. Infuriating loss. It's not a quad 3 loss, Goated. It was a quad 1 loss. It was a quadrant 1 loss because Vanderbilt's in the top, I believe, 90 of the net rankings. I'll check for you real quick. Yeah, they're number 38. So, yeah, that would be a quad 1 loss on a neutral floor. Just so upsetting. You come out in the second half. And you are just firing on all cylinders. You're shooting well. You're getting out in transition. You shot 60%. you shot 60% in the second half, 55.5 from 3, and you lost. That 20-4 run against the Vanderbilt Commodores, you can't allow that. You cannot allow that to happen. Gonzaga isn't good either. The metrics say they are. And I would be afraid of them in March, just to be honest with you. Oh, man. We have to get to an ad read here. I'm sorry, guys. We'll continue to break this down. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Look, if you want to go get tickets to the Tennessee game, that's a game where I think Kentucky can wake up and go play well. If you want to get tickets to that Arkansas game, which Kentucky is currently projected to win by 10, you can go to Game Time. There's no other place that you need to go to get your tickets. I use Game Time picks to grab tickets for everything. I use it for comedy. I use it for sports. I use it for theater near me. Anything. I'm actually going to use it for a concert coming up. It's the perfect place for you to go get tickets. They've got great deals. They've got all-in prices, so you know what you're getting into. You can take the guesswork out of buying your tickets with Game Time by downloading the Game Time app, creating an account, using code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, continuing along here on the Saturday edition of Locked On Kentucky. Lance Dawe hanging out here with you. Beast Mode, they're top 15 on KenPom, and I think they're top 20 on Evan Mia. Analytically, it's one of the best offenses in the country. So they've still got a very good team. Micah Watson asks, do we even get to 10 wins in conference play? At this point, it doesn't feel like it. The answer to that question is probably no. Probably no, because right now you're projected to finish 9-9. You have 12 games left. You're projected to split those 6-6. Your projected wins are against Arkansas, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, and LSU. So only one more quad 1 win you are projected to win out of these next 12 games. Keep in mind, 8 of these opportunities are quad 1 chances. I am so frustrated with the ups and downs of this team, and Caldwell puts it decently here when he says in the chat, the team plays like it just doesn't care. Vanderbilt wanted it more. I don't necessarily think the Commodores wanted it more. I think Kentucky just didn't seem to want it at all with the way that they took care of the basketball today. And I understand coming in, the conversation was Vanderbilt does a great job at creating turnovers. They get most of their points off turnovers. They get out in transition after causing havoc, and they play really, really well through that. Kentucky gave them the opportunities. Vanderbilt didn't take anything. Kentucky gave it to them. Grizz says, we are actively backing off of open shooters from the three-point line. Why? Phenomenal question. Don't know. I have no idea. Why can't this team do a simple dribble handoff? Makes no sense. I don't understand it either. We should have turned up the physicality in the first half. Refs weren't calling anything. I would have put hands on everybody. I would have been physical. I would have been pushing people around. If they were not going to call anything, they should have. Why don't we ever press? We do sometimes, but not enough. They can't stay in front of their man, so they play it off so they don't get beat. My argument with that, which you're right, my argument with that is you have a 7-foot, 260-pound grown man at the rim. He should be contesting more shots, and he's not. Amari Williams is not doing what he was brought in to do. He's just simply not doing it. Not enough. Also, let's get this out of the way briefly here for a moment. You cannot play Travis Perry if he's going to be that worthless. You cannot play an undersized, underweight guard if he is going to come in and give you nothing for 7 minutes other than bad defense and no ball handling. He's not ready. Colin Chandler, worthless in 3 minutes. -5 in just 3 minutes. What did you do today to give yourself confidence moving forward that things could change? I can only think of one thing that I saw that gives me confidence moving forward. You played a little bit better statistically at the rim defensively, but that doesn't really matter in this game because he gave up 12 freaking threes. The amount of shots, Crow says it really well. The amount of shots that Garrison and Williams stand around and just watch is unbelievable. They won't put their hands up. They won't put their hands up to defend a shot. Not consistently. Okay? Not consistently. You see the 4 blocks in the stat column. It's not representative of what this team does at the rim defensively. You out-rebounded Vanderbilt by 11. You shot better from the floor and from 3. You made 4 more free throws. You shot almost double their percentage there. Let's see here. You had 2 less points in the paint. You had 7 less points off the bench. You had 5 more second chance points. You had 1 more offensive rebound. It comes in points off turnovers and turnovers. 17 turnovers for the Cats. Again, 6 of them from Butler, 8 combined between Dawe and Garrison. I have no idea what Lamont Butler was thinking there, trying to throw that pass back to Williams. He wasn't getting it in. I don't know why. There's no reason to throw it back. 7 more points off turnovers for the Doors. A 20-4 run. 20-4 run in that first half. You can't let that happen. You can't. It doesn't matter if Kentucky is a below average team in the SEC. You still can't let that happen. Butler didn't help any either, trying to do it all himself. Too much dribbling, trying to do it all himself. When he actually ran offense, they scored. He was not good today. For a kid that's been excellent all season long, he has not been good for 2 games in a row, making really bad mistakes at the end. I don't get it. Hey, by the way, Kentucky's defensive efficiency got a little bit better in this game. Just a little bit. But they can't create turnovers, and they can't protect the rim. Why was the offense to throw it to Dawe and get out of the way at the end? Because it was clear they could not guard him physically, and so you get one of 3 things off of it. You get a drive to the rim and a bucket. You get a drive to the rim and a foul because of the way that Dawe was initiating contact, or you get a drive and kick, and you can possibly get somebody like Jax, who was shooting well today. I was not angry at that at all. It was good whenever they cleared out a few different times and just let him go to the rim. I thought offensively he played well. Defensively he couldn't stay in front of anybody, and that's the story for this entire team. This is where, by the way, I don't want to make things sound worse, but this is where players like Caleb Wilson will really help you, or would have really helped you next year because of how athletic and quick they are, and they're known for their defense. You got to be able to get somebody in the portal. You have to get someone in the portal that's got some speed and some fire to him, man. Dawe make 2 free throws in a row. Yeah. Also couldn't hit a 3. He was just short on everything. The slow wind-up shot, man, is a little frustrating to watch, I'm not going to lie. Garrison was a beast and a big reason Kentucky made the comeback. Why was he on the bench and Noah on the floor in crunch time? I don't know. Not having Carr really hurt them. I feel like it made certain guys press. People seem to forget that we don't have Kerr either. This team will be lucky to stay under 10 losses. I see 3 out of 4 L's. Oh, I thought Kentucky was going to be over 10 losses at the beginning of the year. This is like this I guess is a wake-up call both for this team if they want to play better, and also for us as the fans. Guys, this team did not know each other half a year ago. They didn't know each other, and they didn't know how to play with each other. This was a hodgepodge team thrown together by a coach who is trying his best. And with the way that the SEC is, with how difficult this conference is going to continue to be, you're not going to find anything better than an 11-7 to 8-10 type of team. That's just what you're looking at with the Wildcats. If you were in any other Power 6 conference this year, you would feel way better. If you were in the ACC, you would be doing, frankly, what Louisville is doing right now and Duke is doing right now, which is blowing out everybody that they see. Wouldn't it be nice to face SMU instead of, I don't know, just on a random weeknight, having to go on the road and face a team like Tennessee? Wouldn't it be nice to go and play some middle-of-the-pack team like BYU right now instead of a team like Vanderbilt or a team like TCU or a team like Utah? If you want to go into the Big East, a team like Georgetown or Providence or Villanova. Wouldn't that be sweet? But unfortunately, the reality is you are playing in the best conference that we've seen. It's the best SEC, best we've seen the SEC, and it's the best I've seen the conference for sure. We are going to be battle-tested when we get to March. Hopefully we are healthy. And I guess that's the positive. Everyone in the SEC is going to have a 500 record. A lot of teams are going to be, yeah. A lot of teams are going to be struggling. We've gotten a little out of control with expectations in year one with Mark Pope under a whole new roster. It's where we're at. This is where we're at. Although I will say Zach does make a point. If there is something positive to say here, we are going to be battle-tested when we get to March. And if Carissa and Carr are healthy, which, by the way, saw a tweet from Aaron Gershon saying it sounds like Carr's going to be out for a few weeks. Awesome. Perfect timing. Awesome. Whenever you get Tennessee, Arkansas, and then, Ole Miss, a top 20 team on Ken Palm. There's just no reprieve, man. There is absolutely no reprieve for this Kentucky team. Auburn's the best of the best, yeah, and they're going to be tested here in about 3 hours against Tennessee. We'll see. We'll see. I won't say anything. We'll see. Hopefully, if Kerr gets back in, he can put some fire in the others. They need it, man. This team, as I said, again, I think I said this after the Alabama game. They need a shot in the arm, dude. They need to wake up. This is a wake-up call. Play with more energy and want to. Defend the freaking rim and close out on three-point shooters. At the very least, put your hand up on time. At the very least, put your hand up on time. Don't wait for them to be here in their shot and then, I guess I'm going to go contest it. I don't know. Crow says, I just want to see improvement, and so far I'm not seeing any in Garrison and Williams or the defense. It's just, here's also the problem. Here's also the problem with most of these guys. This is who they are in college. Almost all of these guys have been in college for 3+ years. There's not going to be a ton of development here. It is just simply up to the coach to get the most out of who they are now. you're not going to see a ton of progression or change. They're not going to add things to their game. They're not going to suddenly take a massive jump statistically in various categories. They are going to play within the system as best as they individually can. There's not going to be a ton of growth. So you've got the good, the win against Duke, the win against Gonzaga, the win against Florida. And then you've got the bad, where you lose to teams like Ohio State, Clemson. I don't see any sort of major progression from this team, and this is who they are. Why has this program not played defense in 6 years? That is a question that genuinely keeps me up at night. You're watching mid-major guys who have never had to grind against teams week in and week out. And on top of it, it's in a league that is as strong as we have ever seen it. As difficult as we have ever seen it. These are cobbled together mid-major players. I'm not going to sit here and be all pissy about it, especially in the SEC this year. I'm not going to be pissy about it, but when you have 17 turnovers and you give the ball up over and over and over again, it is frustrating. It is very frustrating to watch. For a team that you want to succeed. It's such a likable squad. Butler seems like a great guy. Dawe seems like a great person. Like, all of these guys seem... Jax, I want him to succeed. He's been shooting so well recently. I want them to win. And they're not playing great to start and end games. And you can't win with that, man. If this is the trend, we might have to count every away game as a loss. I have continued to say over and over and over and over again, if you can split 500, win your games at home, you lose the games on the road, you're going to be fine. Because that's kind of the best you can do. Does anyone enjoy the bigs handling the ball out top so much? If they could actually handle the ball, I certainly would. Like Ali Khalifa last year, like he was so fun to watch. Do we get better next year? We get better depending on the additions. I'll have to see how Jasper and Akaden play with guys like Dawe in the backcourt. What does that three-headed monster look like? Does Akaden play at all? I want him to, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. Going to keep asking you until you answer me. Do you believe in Pope? Steven, I haven't seen you comment once, so okay. Do I believe in Pope? Yeah, I believe in Pope. He's a really, really good X's and O's coach. Anybody that is a really good X's and O's coach is going to have a shot regardless of what their personnel is. If you can get better personnel, you're going to have a lot of success. Guys trying to play too much in hero ball and crunch time is the common theme. Yeah. Why are people blaming Pope like he was dribbling off his legs? Sometimes BBN is insufferable. Again, this is on the players today, man. They did not make the plays. And you could see Pope every time they turn it over just putting his hands on the back of his head, just like in disbelief. Noah deserves more minutes. He's way ahead of Perry and Chandler. Plays hard, gets boards, steal, and a bucket every time he comes in and goes back out after 2 minutes. I think Noah should... Look, if you're going to rotate anybody in, put him in. Because it's clear he gels well with the rest of this team. Chandler can't shoot, and he can't handle the ball. Perry can shoot, is not getting good looks, is rushing things, and it's just turning the offense into sludge whenever he's out there. You should play Trent. Need to play bully ball and stop being the victims. We do have the talent to score in bunches. If the game was called the way it was today, you could get away with doing that more consistently. Unfortunately, I don't think you're going to see that night in and night out. Unfortunately. Hopefully, Kerr returns this year. It would be huge for Butler, and I don't really want him back next year. Would rather have a scoring guard to start or back up a Akaden. I just want people that will make open shots and handle the ball without turning it over a ton. Kentucky Jones says this isn't on Pope. It's his first year with some guys he had to put together quickly. As an ex-player myself, experience only goes so far. What matters is experience with your guys and system. And we are going to close it out on that because you simply cannot say it better than that. Extremely tough loss. Very frustrating for Kentucky. We will see what they do against Tennessee. Because for all of this complaining, I think they'll have a shot there. It's going to be a physical dogfight. Kentucky plays well against good teams. Hopefully, you get to see some of that on Tuesday. Thank you guys so much for watching in the live chat. If you have not subscribed to the, doesn't even feel like a word. If you have not subbed to the YouTube channel, I would love it if you did so. Look, we're going to have a lot of things to talk about here. Obviously, the Arkansas game's happening next Saturday. You're going to want to be here for that one. Everything, I think, is going to be fine. It's just a lot. It's just a lot to take in, the highs and lows of this first year. It's frustrating. That's going to do it for today's episode. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter at @LanceDawe_. You can follow the YouTube channel on Instagram at Kentucky Podcast. Any questions, comments, concerns, you can leave those in the YouTube comments below. You can hit me on the socials. I will see you all on Monday for another episode of Locked On Kentucky. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and God bless. Thank you for watching.